Sorry, I forgot the first minutes. I think about the previous 20 minutes for recording, and now I started recording. Okay, the second part in Lewin's process model, the second part is change. The first one was unfreezing. The product of unfreezing stage is to create awareness for the need for change, of the need for change. You will understand that, yes, I should change. I need change. Why? Because my situation is not good. It's not good enough. It is not productive. It is not progressive. The same wrong way and the same wrong game. So at first, you should understand your company, you in your personal life, your society, your community, based upon the previous and feedback from the previous productions of your company, previous productivity, product efficiency, or growth rate of your company, of your personal life. At first, you should understand and you should create the need for a change. This stage is unfreezing. After that, the change will happen. Why? Movement from the old way of doing things to a new way. Is it the hardest part? Yes, but it is not the most important stage. Why? Because unfreezing is more important than change. Why? Because a lot of people are living in a sleep stage. They don't understand that how garbage their life, their passion, their efficiency, their productivity, personal productivity or development is. They didn't have anything in life development, in personal development, in growth, even their pleasure of life. So the crucial part, the basic part, the most radical part, radical stage is to know, to be aware of the need for change. After that, in practice, yes, the most important part is doing change. Movement from the old way of doing things to a new way. And refreezing. After that, yes, the new behavior, the new mindset, the new production, the new management, the new leadership styles has been shaped during the change process, during the change stage. And you should fix and bring it to the new configuration of your company, of your lifestyle, of your productivity, and other things related to your life or your business. So it is refreezing, process of making new behaviors, relatively permanent and resistant to further change. Resistant, it is resistant behavior, not very transient behavior. Old state, unfreeze, change, refreeze, and new state. Very simple, very fundamental, very simple, but not easy. A lot of things in the world are simple, but not easy. There is no correlation between to be simple and to be easy. No correlation. It is synchronization. Sometimes, yes, it is simple and easy. Sometimes it is not. Awareness of need for change, movement from old state to new state, assurance of permanent change. The continuous change process model. Human being has been created for gaining, not for losing. All human beings. Gaining is the nature part of human being, to be a human. We are not planned for losing. We are planned for gaining. So the next part is continuous change process model. Incorporates the forces for change, a problem-solving problem, a change agent, and transition management. The fourth part is very important. Incorporates the forces for change, 1, 2, a problem-solving problem, 3, a change agent, and 4, transition management. Takes a top management perspective. Why? Because you want to incorporate several elements, several components together to shape and create a change, you should have the authority of making a force to the other components to fix together, to work together, to create a change. You should be a top management level, not a mid management, not an ordinary employee. You should be a top management level. So perceive forces and trends that indicate need for change. Determines alternative for change. Selects the appropriate alternative. 1, force for change. 2, recognize and define problem. 3, problem solving process. 4, implement the change. 5, measure, evaluate, and control. And again, recognize and define the problem. At the core, at the heart of the process is someone who is a change management and change agent. And transition management is a part of implement the change. It is the transition part. The continuous change process model incorporates the forces of change, a problem-solving problem, a change agent, and transition management. It takes a top management perspective and highlights the fact that in an organization today, change is a continuous process. The continuous change process model, change agent, a person responsible for managing a change effort. Assist management with problem recognition definition. Is change agent an ordinary employee? At first, the change agent should be someone who has been trained for management a change. At first, the someone who is trained, who has trained for management a change. So he or she cannot be an ordinary employee. Why? Because he or she is the agent, the monitoring, the controlling part of the change. Sometimes it's a life coach, for example, in a marital problem. Sometimes he or she is a business coach, sometimes executive coach, sometimes a performance coach. Sometimes he or she is not a coach. It's a department inside an organization, for example, R&D, that investigates the pressures for change in a company and can be involved in generation and evaluating potential action plans. For everything you want to know and you want to do, you need an action plan. Everything. You cannot have a strategic plan, an action plan without going forward, without advancing in your life. At first, you should have an action plan, but before that, you should have a strategic plan that determines why, when, and where you want to go in your life, in your organization, or your personal life. An action plan talks about how you will achieve your goals. Can be from inside or outside of the organizations and implements the change. Measure, evaluates, controls the desired results. In success coaching, in management, in leadership, in every aspect of achievement in life, you should have some measures to do your measurement about your distance from your starting point and from your desired point. If you don't have any measure to make measurement about the distances, you cannot measure your achievement. Sometimes you have passed the stopping point. You have achieved your goals, but you don't have any measurement, any measure for measurement of your success. And because of measurement, you should have done some data gathering, data collection. It's called assessment. And after that, you should have some decisions about based upon the data. So it is evaluation. There is a very, very methodological difference, deep methodological difference between the assessment, data gathering, and evaluation. See the results of the process. Assessment is at the first of the process, first stage of the process, every type of process that should be changed. For example, in psychotherapy, psychotherapists say that psychotherapy has 3 parts. 1, assessment; 2, treatment; 3, follow-up. The assessment including, for example, diagnosis and other things, and data collection about the present situation or past life history and other things. Also in organization, when you want to diagnose and have sub-diagnosis about the areas for pressure, for change, you should at first, you should assess and gather a lot of information about your different types and different levels of organization to know what type or what level of organization need a high pressure need for change. It is assessment. So for gathering information and have some judgment and have some diagnosis about your organization, you should have some measure again. And transition management. In the previous part, in the previous stages, you saw how to create and fix and make it stable your change. At the last part, it is transition management. Process of systematically planning, organizing, and implementing change. The keyword is systematically. If you don't have any system about and systematical thinking about your change, you cannot create your change unit in your organization. Why? Because the first part of organization in its organized mind, in the leader of organization, in the manager in the organization, in the change manager. If the manager doesn't have any organization in his thinking, sorry, he or she will destroy the change process. And organization development. Development is a very old phrase human use in his growth process. And as you know, we have growth and development. These are different in meaning and in concept. These are different. For example, for a human, we say when only you have some increasing in your size of body, it is growth, it is not development. It is about your quantity, not quality. So development is about quality. Changes in quality of life, changes in quality of an organization, changes in quality of a society or race or ethnicity and other things. So development is a quantitative issue, not qualitative. Organization development, OD. The planned development and reinforcement of the organizational strategies, structures, and processes for improving an organization's effectiveness. The planned development and reinforcement. What is reinforcement? Everybody knows the meaning of reinforcement. It's not very hard. But what is the concept of reinforcement? When you do something, there are 2 possibility and probability in front of you. Repeat again or avoid from repeat again. Your approach to repeat again or avoid to repeat again. If it is an issue of pleasure, you want to repeat again in the future. Pleasure is one of the reinforcement factors for repeat again and action. Everything that increase to repeat an action, a thinking, a behavior, an emotion, and other things increase the probability of recurrency, it is reinforcement. So a lot of addictive behaviors, a lot of substance abuse, a lot of false behavior, but pleasure, with pleasure and pleasant behaviors are reinforced by the pleasure. Why? We want to gain a pleasure again. So we will have some habitual behaviors, also in a company, also in an organization. So development and reinforcement Reinforcement is the tools for maintenance, for consistent behavior, consistent process, consistent action in a company or organization. The planned development and reinforcements of organizational strategies, structures, and process for improving an organization effectiveness. What is related to change? If you want to make your change permanently, you should have some reinforcing factors for your company. Even that, before that, and after that, if you don't have any reinforcing factor for your company, you cannot check your changes that are they permanent or not. So enforcing factors are very important, and it should be planned. It should be predictable for the employees, for the manager, for the outside the company or organization, that yes, if we go and we do some strategies, some structures and processes and improving, we can gain some reinforcing factors. System-wide organizational development, structural change, a comprehensive system-wide rearrangement of task division, authority, reporting relationships. A comprehensive system-wide rearrangement of task division, authority, and reporting relationships. So why we call it a structural change? Because it is about the structure of company. It is very comprehensive. It contains all parts and all sides of an organization. It is included every aspect of an organization. It is structural change. It is a change in the structure of a company, structure of an organization, a comprehensive system-wide rearrangement. We have a previous arrangement. We want to make and to create some change and gaining some rearrangement in the company. Why? Because we want to have some change in the future and some achievement and some success points in the future. So, and in a company, there are a lot of pain points. You should work on your pain points in a company to achieve your success point. Rearrangement is about the potential for the future change and also the present pain points in a company. For example, about your tools are task division, about the rearrangement of authority, managerial levels, and reporting relationships. And affects performance appraisal and rewards, decision-making, communication, information processing system. Why? These are the main parts of a structure of an organization. Who is the decision maker in a company, in an organization? It's an original part of a structure, an organizational structure. What is the reward system? How is the communication system between the different levels? Not only verbal communication, organizational communication. And how and by who information processing is doing. Who processes the information in a company? And with which procedure, with which application, with which software and other things. So we have communicative parts, relationship between different parts of an organization. We have decision maker. We have a system of information processing. And also reinforcing factors, reward system. So contemporary approaches to system-wide OD, it is re-engineering, rethinking, and quality of work life. At first, Walton's categorization of quality of work life program is safe and wealthy work environment, growth and security. They care about it because sometimes we have a lot of growth, but no security. Sometimes we have an extreme security, but there is no growth. So we need a balance between the growth level and security level. The excessive security seeking people will lose the opportunity for growth, for success and other things. And the excessive risk takers people will lose the opportunity to be secure and safe. So we need some balance between them. Also, life is naturally risk-taking. If you cannot take a risk in your life, you cannot go forward. It is not the issue of success. It is not the issue of development or achievement. It is the issue of real life, daily real life. Real life, because of ambiguous problems in life, need a level, some level of risk-taking. But it is over risk-takers or lower risk-takers, under risk-takers are in extreme points. So in the extreme points, the balance between the risk-taking, between the security or unsecurity and growth will be a lot of chaotic problem. Constitutionalism, social relevance, total life space, social integration, development of human capacities, adequate and fair compensation, and again, safe and wealthy work. Quality of work life, you know that before coming to the discussion about the quality of work life, in all aspects of human sciences, like psychology, like management, like sociology, and new approaches, even in divinity and the religious studies, all leaders, all master thinkers, finally talking about one thing, quality of life. Quality of life is the total concept about everything in life, everything. So it is a very general concept. For example, you in organizational theories course see that quality of work life, quality of sex life, quality of emotional life, quality of, for example, body life even. Totally is quality of life. There are a lot of books and there are a lot of organizations that works on quality of life. For example, WHO, World Health Organization, has one part that specific work on the scales and measures to assess the quality of life all around the world. Why? Because the quality of life is the major part of every type of health, mental health, physiological health, social health, spiritual health, environmental health, and. Task and technological changes. Task redesign. When we need to task redesign, why? A company has a specific goals, specific products, and has written and has developed and has created good and proper task for them. Why? Because the company is a live being. It's not a very industrial being, it's a live being. It has its natural development and natural growth. For growth in every stage of company life, organizational life, different tasks. For example, the task for a baby at the age of 2 is very different from the task necessary for a baby at the age of 4 or for a child at the age of 8. The person is the same person, only the name, only the identity, social identity, family identity is the same. The person is not the same person. You are not the same person at the age of 2. Even between, for example, age of 20 and 25, you are not the same person. You are the same social identity. So different stages, different conditions, different circumstances, different tasks. At first, different tasks. So as a manager, you should know about the pressure for changing the task in your company, your organization, and redesign your task because of the new phase and new case in your organizational life. For example, some changes like coronavirus is very huge. Everything is chaotic these days. But some parts are very predefined and ordinary. For example, technological changes in the technology relative to a company. It is very, very, very slow, not the rapid changes. At each level, you should redesign the task defined for a company. Changing tasks involved in doing the work, the technology, or both. It is about the procedures, it is about the tools. If it is about the procedures, doing the work. It is about the how to work. It is about the work. But sometimes it is about the tools, how you want to do it, and why you want to do it, and with which tools you want to do it. And technological change, changing how inputs are transformed into outputs. Efficiency is the first scale for measuring the productivity of a company. It is output, ratio of output to input. It is the basic scientific and managerial definition of efficiency. Griffin integrated framework for introducing job changes. 9 steps that reflect the complexities of the interfaces between individual jobs and the total organization. It is Griffin integrated framework. Step 1, recognition of a need for a change. We talk about it. Number 2, select a task redesign as a potential intervention. It is not the real intervention. Only selection. It is the potential intervention. Step 3, diagnosis of the work system and context. Step 4, cost-benefit analysis of proposed changes. Step 5, go, no-go decision. Step 6, formulation of the strategy for redesign. Step 7, implementation of the task changes. Step 8, implementation of any supplemental changes. And step 9, evaluation of the task redesign effort. In step 1, we have recognition of a need for change, and we talked about it before. But now we know about the selection of task redesign as a potential intervention. It is potential, it is not real. For the future step, you should know about the task redesign. You have a previous design and you want to redesign the task. Step 3, diagnosis of the work system and context has about 6 stages or sub-stages. 1, diagnosis of existing jobs. 2, diagnosis of existing workplace. Diagnosis of technology. Which job, in which workplace, with which technology. Diagnosis of organization design. This job in this workplace with this technology is being done in which organization. Diagnosis of leader behavior, and who is the leader of organization. So job, workplace, technology, organization, organizational leader, and diagnosis and group and social processes out of the company or internal, intercompany or intra-company, inter-organization or intra-organization, internal and external. These are the work system and context. Job, workplace, technology, which organization, with which leader, and in such a context or social processes. Okay, after that we have cost and benefit. It is like, for example, soccer match, the goals that you have received and the goals yet you have issued, and it's a successful goals. The difference between them, it is cost and analysis, cost and benefit analysis. People-oriented change techniques, training, management development, team building, and survey feedback, group and individual change. At first, training. Training is the basic part of all the changes you want to create. 2, management development. 3, team building. And 4, survey feedback. Between these steps of people-oriented change techniques. It is related to the humanistic part of change, about the persons who are involved, engaged in change process and creating change and maintaining change and reaching the change to the desired point. It is the people-oriented change technique. At first training, if you are not trained, go out of the door because you are not compatible, you are not competent for entering the change process. You are not trained. Second, management development. A lot of people are trained for creating a change, but they should manage. And we need a manager. So we have sometimes a management development, maybe a management development by one person, sometimes, for example, team management. After that, team building. Team building is the relationship between the management team or manager and the person who are involved in change creation. And finally, survey feedback. Is it true or false? How much is the productivity? How much is the efficiency? How much are costs? What is our benefits? What is the cost and benefit analysis and other things? All are in the feedback system. Also in some other locations and other courses that I will talk to you about the feedback and feed forward. Group and individual change. The first, training. What is the purpose of training? Improve employees' current job skills or impart new skills. We want to create some change. We should improve employees' current job skills or impart new skills. 2, method. What are the method of trainings? Lecture, discussion, lecture-discussion combination, experiential methods, case studies, films, videos, and tapes. And also videotapes and also film tapes. It is the visual presentation and visual training. These are the methods very regular. Experiential methods and lecture discussion combination are the most effective part of method for training something to anybody. At first, experiential method. If the employee can experience the new methods, not only a training by lectures and discussion about the components that you cannot experience. Experience, in addition to training, in addition to information, is the best part for learning, not for teaching. Teaching is something different from learning. If you have learned something, we should see some changes in your behavior. If you cannot any changes in your behavior, honestly, you have only been taught. Someone has taught something to you, but you didn't learn anything. You are a student, not learner. Learn is something more important and something has something extra than to be a student. Student is related to studying, but learn is related to learning. Learning is about the change. The issue of learning is creating change. When you can understand that someone or some society and some organization has changed, when you see some new changes has learned, when you see some changes in their behavior and there are relatively persistent change, not a transient change. And what are the locations of training, classroom, and of company property at a hotel, resort, and conference centers? And if it is experiential learning on the job. A major difficulty for training is transferring learning to the workplace. It's very, very important. Knowledge is not necessarily the cause of change. Why? Because a lot of people has knowledge but doesn't show any change. Why? Because the knowledge is not internalized. They haven't accepted the knowledge. When you internalize and accept the knowledge, this is not knowledge. This is attitude. Attitude is some part of knowledge that you have internalized in yourself. It has gone to your belief system. It is mixed with your belief system. Change your schema. Schema, it is the basic thinking about the world. It is schema or other things. Management development programs. Multifaceted, complex, long-term process with no quick and simple approach. There is no king road to creating a change. No king road. There is no fast food road for creating a change. Change is a tailor-made product for everybody. So we have, we should do a lot of things, a lot of jobs, a lot of training, and be patient, be patient, be patient. Change takes effort and time together, not only time. If you are wasting your time, consuming your time with no effort, it is not time consuming, it is time wasting. If you are doing only sometimes, only effort, but in a short time, okay, also it is not change, it is only effort. Very, very separated efforts in different parts. It is very, these efforts are in the surface, not so deep, and change is so deep issues, not the very things in the surface. Organizations should identify carefully and systematically their unique development needs and existing programs. Pay attention. The word is unique. Every type of organization has its unique pressure for needs, unique need points, and existing programs, and the programs that we have today in our organization to create a change for achieving our desired goal in the future. Is it correct or not? Is it efficient or inefficient? We don't know. We should access some information about the present existing programs and define that it is good or not. And management development objectives must be compatible with organizational objectives. One of the greatest problems, one of the greatest behavioral problems in an organization is that objective of a management objective, a managerial object, is different from management object, manager object. Manager objects in the objectives for the manager, someone, a person, a team that manage a company. Managerial objects, the objective are the objectives that as the managers we should do in a company. So manager objectives may be personal objectives, but managerial object, the goal of managerial objectives is always to manage a company efficiently, not always, not even have some gain for the manager. And the utility and value of management development is not proven. It is very important, that the value of management development is not proven. It is very, very important to pay attention to this part. Team building goals. One, to set team goals and priorities, to analyze and allocate the way work is performed, to examine how a group is working, and to examine relationships among those doing the work. Okay. To set team goals and priorities. There's a very good book in the Amazon, so-called Set Your Priorities Right. Set your priorities right. Because human beings have 4 major limited sources. 1, time sources. 2, money sources. 3, energy sources, vitality sources, which is very limited. And finally, it is understanding sources. We cannot understand everything. So we have limitation in 4 areas: time, money, energy, and understanding, and passion, for example. Because of this, we should consider the priorities in our life to know that in which areas we want to concentrate our time, money, energy, and intellectuality, our thinking abilities. And to analyze and allocate the work is performed. It is very important because a change is done outside. You should understand an objective, you should have some objective approach to the change. If an external observer cannot see your change, it is not a change. Also I know that maybe internal change, why, and when it is called a change, when it can be monitored and it can be manifested outside of yourself. So workplace, for example, is the outside part of the change in an organization. To examine how a group is working, which is team building goals, and to examine relationship among those doing the team work. And the final part, it is survey feedback, the knowledge about the way we have gone until now. Provides information about employees' benefits and attitudes, can assist management with problem solution diagnosis. Data are returned to employee groups at all organizational levels, and data are used by the employees working together in their normal work groups to identify and solve problems. The survey data gathering, group feedback meeting, and process analyzing, and resistant to change, human being and everything which is related to human being, it is change resistance. The resistant to change paradox. Organization invite change when change offers competitive advantage. Organization resist change when change threatens the organization structures and control system. If change is about the outside competition, yes, organization invite change. And change is about the changing in the structure of an organization. Sorry, it is a human being will be change resistant. An organization must balance stability, permanence, with the need to react to external shift, permanence and change. Resistance can warn of the need to re-examine the need for change. Organizational sources for change resistancy. It is overdetermination, narrow focus of change, group inertia, threatened expertise, and threatened power, and resource allocation changes. And individual sources are habit, security, individual sources for change resistance. Habit, security, economic factors, especially at the first is habitual behavior. When you have some types of change resistancy, at first you have some habitual behavior, pre-learned and long-learned behaviors and actions and thinking and feelings that you don't want to change. Why? Because when you have some habitual behavior, it is very easy for you to do it. And the nature of human being is about to be easy access, not so hard. So we don't want to change because we have some pre-learned and habitual behavior that we don't want to change them. A fear of the unknown, this is very important, very important. For example, in relationships, we see that fear of unknown in a divorce, or fear of loss from the previous partner. And lack of awareness, when you don't have any good knowledge or good awareness about the future, about the change process. Like, for example, chronic diseases like cancer, like diabetes and other things, lack of awareness is very, very good and persistent source for change resistance. And social factors. Overdetermination and weird. Managing successful organization, change and develop. Keys to managing change in an organization. Consider global issues, especially now. Take a holistic view of the organization. Start small and secure top management support and encourage participation by those affected by the change. Foster open communication and reward those who contribute to change. And the last part of our discussion, it is about organizational learning. An organization that facilitates the learning of all its members and continuously transform itself. So the transformation is a factor for organization, but the learning is the factor for organizational member, for employees. Continual learning and change are part of the culture And after action review, which is very important, is part of feedback, professional discussion of an event to figure out what happened, why it happened, how to sustain strength, and how to improve on weaknesses, and conducted for both successes and failures. And goal is learning, never to assign credit or blame. And after action review, it is what was supposed to happen, what actually happened, why were these differences, and what did we learn. It is very important. And the final part is after reading the snapshot. Okay. After 15 minutes, I will be here again for final exam. And in that time, we will give you, if anybody extra to you, Sean, is it anybody there? We have a 1 hour for final exam. See you again.
Professor,